Gentlemen, we are live. Happy midnight to Median. Jesus Worldwide Dragon, thank you for you guys showing up. I know we saw each other over at that other channel, but here we are. I'm so lazy. I'm running behind. I don't have an intro, and it looks like it's just going to be me and Paul. Maybe we might get a sneak surprise from Osama, but he's got a busy schedule, so we're not counting on him. Won't be the same, but we'll try. We'll try to pick up the slack. All right, so we left off on
We
10:25.
finished 20. Yeah. Now we're starting 25. Yeah.
Okay, and since Osama's not here, I'm still going to read it because I don't want him to get in our case. Okay, so this is Osama's exegesis. In eternity, the wicked have black faces. This shows Islam's racism towards the black race. Yeah, I would say so. Okay, 25. Let's get the show on the road. And Allah calls to the home of peace, and he guides whom he wills to the straight way. Now, did that make sense to you?
Well, what is the straight way?
I don't know. Allah calls to the home of peace. What? Who does he call? What does he call to the home of peace? I mean, we know he guides whom he wills and he misguides whom he wills, but Allah calls to the home of peace. So is Allah speaking?
I want to point out that Usama's ministry is called the Straight Way of Grace.
Right.
Straight Way of so when people are looking for the straight way, it's actually Jesus, but Allah doesn't know what the straight way is.
Yeah, but I'm reading this and it says, and Allah calls to the home of peace. Like the home of peace is something that you would speak to.
Where it doesn't, this is again, he doesn't, because Allah doesn't understand the concept of peace also.
That is true. He's a very mischievous little God. Okay, 26.
He's a warmonger.
Right. I mean, he's so bad that he will tell people, go ahead, man, one of you guys can defeat 10 people. They go out there and get slaughtered. And then he comes back and says, oh, listen, I made a mistake. I should have said one of you guys can defeat 2. I apologize for the thousands that just got killed or the hundreds. The joke's on me. More better the joke's on them, but yeah. All right, 26. To those who did good, the best, and more, neither blackness nor humiliation will cover their faces. Those are
so if you do good, you're not black. Is that what that says?
That's kind of like what I'm getting. And you will not be humiliated. So people with black faces are going to be humiliated, probably with the black face.
No, I would say, the way I read this is that black is humiliating.
Yeah. Well, to those who did good, that should say to those who did good, they are the best. To those who did good, the best. That's
just how bad the Arabic is.
That's just bad. And more.
Well, we can't expect Allah to know how to write or Muhammad to know how to. I mean, if he can't write and he can't speak, it's definitely not Arabic.
So if you did good, you're the okay. Those are the companions of the garden; they will abide in it forever. So basically, if you don't have a black face, you won't be humiliated. You are those who did good, and you'll be rewarded with your garden, which there are rivers underneath you. Which he forgot to put that in there.
Rivers underneath. Yeah.
Or beneath you. Okay, 27. And those who have earned the evils, their reward is evil with the like of it, and humiliation will cover them. They will not have no protector against Allah, as though their faces were covered with dark patches of night. Those are the companions of the fire. They will abide in it forever. See, but that's not fair because Allah is the one who
isn't he the deceiver?
Right. He's the one that makes them earn evil by not wanting to guide them.
Yeah, I
mean, this is the God who tells you.
Well, it says it right there. They'll have no protector.
Right, and this is the God
that wants to deceive them.
Yeah, this is a God that I think it was in chapter 9 that says he created a portion of humans and jinn for hell to be the fuel. I mean, how do I know that if I become a Muslim, I'm not part of that segment or portion of humans that's going to be thrown into hell so hell can have some fuel. I mean, I just don't have that warm, fuzzy feeling, you know?
Not from this God.
You know, where we get that from Jesus. Jesus assures us. This guy here is like, well, you know, I made a portion of you guys for hell. So, you know, how do I know? We don't. 28. And a day we will gather them together. Then we will say to those who are polytheists, to your place, you and your partners. So we separated between them, and their partners said, you were not serving us.
Wait, so we have partners here.
I have
Your
no
place.
idea. I mean, I don't know about you, but I have no idea what Allah's trying to convey in this
Maybe
humongous
he doesn't.
sentence here.
On the day we will gather them, whoever them is, then we will say to those who are polytheists. So them is not the polytheists. I'm guessing that's supposed to be the good guys then.
Right.
Your place and your partners. So we separate between them. So the polytheists go one direction, and those who, if we're taking the Quran to mean the monotheists, go the other direction, which would include Christians, Jews. I don't know how he puts us all in the same camp, but yeah.
Okay, this one gets even funnier because if this is supposed to be Allah, this makes no sense. So Allah is a sufficient witness between us and between you, for we are unaware of your serving us. This makes absolutely no sense. Allah is sufficient witness between us and between you.
Well, that's because Allah has partners. I mean, there's more than one in Allah. It keeps showing us that over and over again. But I mean, it's easy to prove by reading a good translation like this one.
But here's the funny thing. Why would Allah say Allah is sufficient witness between us and between you? This signifies that this is not Allah speaking. This is somebody else telling somebody that Allah is sufficient. Not Allah speaking, because
well, it would have to be Muhammad.
Right. But is there like a say? No, I don't see a say. There's no say in 27. Nope. There's nope.
Well, it just tells you that Muhammad doesn't know when he's speaking or when Allah's speaking. He just figures it's both because he's got a sock puppet, I guess.
I mean, this is just like ridiculous.
I mean, at least in the Bible, we know who's speaking and when they're speaking.
I mean, so this is supposed to be the perfect speech of Allah, and Allah is saying, so Allah is sufficient witness. So there's more than one Allah, since Muslims tell us that Allah is God. So Allah is saying,
and this is supposed to be the voice of, and this all of the Quran is supposed to be the speech of Allah, according to
them. Except for the verses that start with say, say, O Muhammad, say, Prophet, say, and they said, but this clearly, I do not see any indication where it's telling somebody to say this, because this would make no sense if this is Allah speaking. So Allah is saying, so God is sufficient witness between us, which means
and then we get then you get to that next part. For we were unaware.
So Allah is unaware if you're serving us. So Allah doesn't know if the people were serving him. And this is the miraculous linguistic miracle that Muslims want to tell us we should take the Shahada because, I mean, seriously, this is bad. XYZ is right. This is the clear as mud book. All right, let's move on to 30. See if it gets any better. Okay, thereupon every soul will taste of what it had done, and they return to Allah, their true master, and gone astray from them what they were forging. So did Allah go astray?
So thereupon every soul will taste of it and return to Allah. Okay, so we'll taste of what?
Looks like we'll taste of what they had done. So I guess if they had committed adultery, they're going
So if
to
they've
taste
done
the
something
tree.
good or bad, they get their just reward. They
Right.
return to Allah, their true master. It sounds like Allah went astray.
I mean,
Well,
it would makes more sense if it would have said, "Thereupon every soul will be judged on what they have done."
yeah. Well, they can't say that because we don't know what they're forging for. I mean,
Right.
forging has to do with, I mean, depending on what the meaning here is. Are we talking about metallurgy? Are we talking about, I mean,
I don't know. Were
yeah.
they making swords? They were
Uh,
making chain link mail for King David. All right, 31. See, now this one we know that this is not Allah speaking. This is what Allah tells the prophet, the messenger, Joe Smith, John Doe. Say, who provides to you from the heaven and the earth? Is he who owns the hearing and the sight, and who brings forth the living from the dead, and brings forth the dead from the living, and who arranges the affairs? These are all questions. So they will say, Allah. So say, do you not fear? All right, that doesn't make any sense any better than when Allah was trying to speak.
the clear as mud book strikes again.
I know. Okay, 32. Now I'm going to assume this is still the messenger speaking. So this is Allah, your true Lord. I think that Osama did see a problem that a lot of these verses shouldn't really be verses. They should be like continuation of the previous verse.
Yes.
So by throwing in and making them separate verses, it's like you can see a lot of these that it's all one verse. Shouldn't be broken up because that's it, I'm easily confused reading the Quran. That just confuses me even more. So what after the truth except the error? Okay. So how can you turn away? Easy. I just do a 180. Likewise, the word of your Lord was established on those who transgress, that they will not believe. Say, is there any of your partners who begin the creation then redo it? Whoa, did Allah make a mistake? How many times did he?
So wait a minute. So is there any of your partners who begin? So again, we have this is one of the questions that it keeps getting brought up, and I mean, Rob Christian has brought it up. I see a lot of people bringing. Adam Seekers brings it up. I see Christian Prince bring it up. I mean, this particular verse: is there any of your partners who begin the creation and redo it? The question is, did Allah create anything? I mean, it says that He did. Now it's saying, is there any of your partners who begin the creation?
So is Muhammad asking the disbelievers if they have gods who started creation and then redid it? But it gets
If we
very
put
damning
this
because
all together under the say column, somebody is saying these things. Is there any of your partners who begin the creation and redo it? I mean, so Allah has partners is the statement here.
but check this out. Say Allah begins the creation and then redoes it. So how can you turn away? So wait a minute. What creation are we speaking about here? How many creations did he create? Is it talking about the creation of the world or the universe? Did he like
Well, he
redo
would talk.
it?
Maybe he's talking about everything. See, he doesn't see things as a whole. He's one of these. I guess he doesn't see things as they are.
I mean, I would
He
like a
sees
Muslim.
pieces.
I mean, I would like a Muslim to explain what is Allah saying here. Now, I know they're gonna say go to the tafsirs, and you know what? I am gonna go to the tafsirs because what did Allah create and then redo? I'm gonna go to Quran X tafsirs. What is this? This is
34.
34. Oops. Oh, I forgot to hit the num lock. 1034. 1034. Okay, let's see. Let's see what okay, Ibn Abbas, which we know is not Ibn Abbas. Say to them, O Muhammad, is there of your partners, your idols, whom you ascribe to Allah, one that produced creation from a sperm drop and abused it with the spirits, and then reproduced it after death on the day of judgment? If they answer you, fine. If say Allah produced creation from a sperm drop, well, wait a minute. Where did you get a sperm drop in that verse? I mean, when in God's name did Ibn Abbas get the creation from a sperm? Okay, let's read Jalalain. Say, is there of those whom you associate with God one that originates creation, then created it? Say, God originates creation, then recreates it. How then are you deviated, turned away from worshiping him, despite proof having been established? Notice Jalalain mentions nothing, not a single hint of a sperm drop.
I don't know where the sperm came from.
I got no idea. See, this is why you can't even trust the scholars.
Wow. Well, I mean, but the scholars don't know what to say about it because it's clear as mud. I wish it wasn't true. I really wish it wasn't true, because then maybe people might be able to understand it. But when it's something's not true, I mean, let's see. I have Ibn Kathir, I think, here.
Oh God, Ibn Kathir is such a long one.
Okay, let's see. He put 34 to 36 together.
Right. Yeah.
It is he who does this, he who does it by himself. Okay, let me see. I'm just trying to find his comments on 1034, and it doesn't make any sense when I'm reading. How are you deluded away from the truth? How is it? I'm not seeing anything that makes any sense to me here.
No.
Is there one of your partners, one that originates the creation and then repeats it? Meaning, who is the one who started the creation of these heavens and earth and created all the creatures in them? Who can place the planets and stars in their position? That's the point, Ibn Kathir. That's it right there. Is there a partner? According to this passage, there is.
You know what's funny is that I just realized that you and I are probably better qualified to do tafsirs, because basically it's make it up as you go. We got one guy talking about sperm drop. We got the second guy that doesn't mention the sperm drop. We got the third guy he's on the tangent all by himself, right? And I mean,
they actually asked the question: is there one? I mean, it says, say, is there one of your partners? Wait a minute, there is no word say there, is there? 34.
34. Yes. No. Yeah. There is. Say.
Okay. So say, is there one of your partners, one that originates the creation? Meaning, who is the one who started the creation? I mean, that's the real question. He asked it. Who is the one who started the creation? If you're talking to Allah and you don't know who,
I think repent is Adam. Yes, I do have many accents. Trust me, you would love me reading the fairy tales in the Quran. You know, I could do the Indian accent. I can do the Abdul accent. I could do the Latin accent, the Mexican accent. See, I'm not racist. 35 say, okay, 35. Say, is there any of your partners who guide to the truth? Say, Allah guides to the truth. Is the one who guides to the truth worthy to be followed? Is he who does not guide unless he himself is guided? So what is the matter with you? How do you judge? I don't know. I judge Allah to be incompetent. What says the jury? what is the verdict? All right, 36. You know, the good thing about this is that we can read this and kind of, I don't know, improvise and kind of make it comical, because at the end of the day, it is comical. I mean, this would be good for putting your kid to sleep.
I I think that put me to sleep.
Thank God my kid is grown.
Okay, we're on 36, right?
36. And most of them do not follow except conjecture. Surely the conjecture will not profit any from the truth. Surely Allah knows what they do, but over and over we see that Allah really doesn't know. Yeah, I like this one.
Well, I mean, if Allah doesn't know half the time because he's the God of perhaps, what does he really know? That's the real question.
Probably the only thing that he can see. Allah has missing understanding like missing body parts. Okay. Only Allah could write a book as great as the Quran. I agree 100%. Because nobody could write it.
I think a monkey could write a better book.
I mean, who else could write a disjointed, incoherent book if not the Almighty Allah?
Well, let's see now.
If this was
I've met third graders who can write better.
Right. I mean, I have to say, if this was not a religious book followed by 1.x billion, I, as a publisher, would burn this thing and laugh. If somebody submitted this for me to publish and I read this and we've only gotten to chapter 10, I would send them back a nice big letter with a big rejection stamp on it. Bang, rejected. Go back to school and learn how to write, make sense.
Use the same tense. Use the right gender. Use the right, singulars and plurals where you're supposed to. Please go back to school.
I mean, notice that we're not even looking at the. Sometimes it's clear that it's using the wrong. Like it's going from singular to plural, from present to past to future, all in one sentence.
Yes,
but
this is the perfectly clear thing about it, that it makes no sense.
That, I think, is what Mary is doing. God bless her, I don't have time for that crap. Okay, 37. And this Quran was not forged without Allah. Okay, whoa, wait a minute. This Quran was not forged without Allah. So that means it is forged because it's Allah. Do you read that? This Quran was not forged without
37,
Allah.
And this Quran was not forged without Allah, but it confirms what was between his hands and is an exposition of the book. There is no doubt in it.
Did Allah have a book between his hands?
So wait a minute, somebody else is there. That's the interesting part of it. And the Quran was not forged without. So there's somebody observing him.
Let me
That's
go.
what it sounds like.
Let me go and look at 1037 on my word for word. Let me see. Islam. 1037. What we're looking at. Yeah, 1037. See what it says. And not is this the Quran that it could be produced by other than Allah? I don't see the word forged, but that doesn't mean it's not there.
Produced, forged, I can give that.
Yeah. I mean, this is where...
I don't think there's too much difference there in the meaning.
Forged, produced, okay. I mean, okay. Okay, so this is supposed to be Allah speaking. And this Quran was not forged, produced, whatever, without Allah. So, and it confirms what was between his hands, and it is an exposition of the book. There is
going back to what we were saying, talking about singular, plurals, and tense. If this was Allah speaking, this should be first person. Right. And this Quran was not formed without me, it should say, but it confirms what was between my hands. It should be all first person. It's third person. As stated, there is an observer who is not Allah.
I'm almost thinking that the word "and" is an exposition of the book. Maybe I meant to say, and this is the copy of the book that I have between my hands. That there is
that's kind of what it says, yes.
Right. So Allah had a book, and he made a copy of the book, which is the Quran. But But
But
Muhammad,
it didn't exist at the time
yeah.
this was written.
So Muhammad, it's not talking about something that's between the hands of Muhammad, because Muhammad didn't have anything between his hands. The Quran was memorized. Maybe Allah should have said, but it confirms what was in your mind. Something like that.
Because, I mean, we know that Muhammad didn't. I mean, there may have been scraps on bone and other things.
Right. I
We
mean, you
know
had
that Aisha at
bones,
least had scraps in her bed.
you
Still
had
makes me wonder
bones, you
about
had
what's going
leaves,
on.
you
I
had
mean, just
rocks,
keeping
you had
scraps of the
animals,
Quran in her bed.
you had animal skins, and trust me, if you've seen those early manuscripts, the complete ones or semi-complete ones, man, you need a freaking forklift to lift that sucker.
Oh, the
You're
big one you're talking about, yeah.
you're not holding that in your hand. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's funny.
You're gonna have to be Hercules to hold that book. At least the Jewish texts were in scrolls where you can just unscroll them. Those things are like freaking, I don't
And
know.
that's really, I mean, that's centuries after the
Yeah.
Quran was supposed to be written.
I
So
mean,
that's something else to say about it.
I mean, these books have to weigh 30, 40, 50 pounds.
I think that's still an underestimate. Yeah, I think it's a couple hundred actually. But
Or do they say he forged it? Who forged it? I mean, it can't be Muhammad. So are they saying that maybe Allah forged it? Well, which we know he did. That's why he borrowed from every Tom, Dick, and Harry. But it can't be Muhammad because Muhammad didn't have a book to forge.
because he can't write, because he's illiterate.
Well, according to Muslims,
yes.
So that's another shot in the foot. He wouldn't be able to write anything, so he wouldn't be able to forge it. Hell, he wouldn't
have
even
to hire somebody. Yeah,
he wouldn't even be able to read it and confirm it because he can't read. Say, so bring a portion of a revelation like it and call on whom you can rather than Allah if you were truthful. Okay, so this is one of the challenges to produce, like one surah. Bring a portion of like it how? See, here's the thing. The challenge that Muslims say, well, nobody in 1440 years or whatever it is now has ever produced anything like it.
That's because, I'll say it today. You want to know why you can't see it today? Because literary agents make sure you don't have to read crap.
Yeah. But what is the criteria? What are the qualifiers? Who's going to be the judge? I mean, it's got to be an impartial judge. It's not going to be
if
biased.
I go to a kindergartner and ask him to produce a book, maybe it'll be this bad.
Okay. All right, 39. Yet they deny what they do not have knowledge of, and the interpretation of it has not come to them. Likewise, those who were before them denied. So look, how was the end of the unjust? Well, first of all, how can you look at the end of let's say of people that you were not there? You have no way of knowing what happened to them. The day of judgment hasn't come yet. So how would you know how did those people end? Now we know how Sodom and Gomorrah ended. Okay, so you can refer to that. But reading this, one of my questions is, okay, what happened to them? And some of them who believe in it, and some of them who do not believe in it, and your Lord knows the best those who vandalize. I mean, this has got to be the crappiest. And some of them,
the Lord knows the best those who vandalize. So is he saying he knows best the guys that are considered crooks?
Yeah. But believe in what? In the Quran? And the Torah, the Injil, the Zabur, the Book of Abraham? I don't know, the Book of Solomon? I mean, you're left scratching your hair if you've got hair. Thank God I still got some. Like, what the hell is this guy talking about?
I don't think he knows.
All right, so we're okay.
But then if we look at Muhammad and we guess that he's having a seizure, some of this might make some.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
What does it mean by vandalize? Because in my mind, when I see somebody vandalizing something, I can see people like I don't know, breaking into the cars, breaking the windows of a building.
I think it's spray painting buildings.
Right, doing the graffiti on the wall. That's what we call vandalizing. What is this guy talking about? And those who vandalize. What the camel jockeys had spray paint
Somebody
back
wrote
then?
somebody sprayed some sand art on a camel.
I mean, could be. Okay. I mean, I really don't know. And if they deny you, so say, to me my work, and to you your work, and you are innocent of what I do, and I am innocent of what you do.
So you do your stuff, you do your thing, and I'll do my thing.
Right.
Stay
But
out
what
of
does
each
it
other's
mean
business.
to my work? What work? What are we talking here about?
Well, if his work's vandalism and your work isn't,
I mean, this kind of reminds me of the verse where it says, "To you your religion, to me my religion." Or where's the chapter that I create a verse that says, "Oh, I do not worship what you worship. You do not worship what I worship." And I think one of what those arguments was, how do you call God what? Or worship that you worship or something like that.
yeah.
So I did one. I do not eat what you eat. You do not eat what I eat. I do not drink what you drink. You do not drink what I drink. I said, there you go. I created a chapter.
And
All right,
it
42.
sounds like the Quran. Oh my
I
God.
know. I mean,
It's just as vague as can be.
and one of the Muslims said, "Oh, you didn't create that. You just changed a
Hey, wait a minute. The Quran is not an original piece. It's
yeah.
copies
I
from
mean,
other
it's right.
tale. I mean, look at
It's
all
from
the
other.
pieces of the Bible that were copied. Look at all
So
the
I mean,
tales from.
I'm just doing what Allah did. I think I did a better job. All right, and okay, 42. And some of them who hear you, can you make the deaf to hear, even though they were not understanding? I mean, that is about as incoherent can be. And some of them who look at you, but can you guide the blind, even though they were not seeing? Okay. Surely Allah will not deal with the people unjustly. Anything. Oh, wait a minute. Is this saying that Allah is not going to deal with people unjustly? But wait, haven't we been reading over and over that Allah is going to torture you in hell? I
Well,
mean,
he likes torture. If you're not doing
right.
bad things, he wants to torture you. So, yeah,
I
I
mean,
think
so so
there's a
so why
passage where
so
he's
why
okay with killing people off because they're not sinning enough.
so why is Muhammad contradicting Allah, or why is Allah contradicting Allah?
So he can give an abrogation.
I, okay, surely Allah will not deal with the people unjustly anything, but people deal unjustly with themselves. And a day he gathers them, they will seem as though they had waited but an hour of the day, recognizing each other. Indeed, those who denied the meeting with Allah have lost. Oh, wait a minute. I have an option of not meeting Allah? Because if that's so, I'm going to take it. Indeed, those who denied the meeting with Allah have lost, and they were not guided. And if we show you some of what he promised them, so Muhammad, how can you show me those 72 lovely hoodies? Is Allah going to manifest them so I can take a look at them? See, do they really have a bodacious booty? Are they size triple D's? I don't know. And if we show you some of what we promised them, or we cause you to die, so to us is their return. Then Allah is witness of what they say. Well, I'm glad Allah's keeping track so that I can forget.
Because Allah won't remember.
Yeah. Every nation has its own messenger. But wait a minute. We've read that Allah sent Harun and Musa to the same nation. That is two prophets. Allah had Abraham, Ishmael, Isaac, Jacob. That's four messengers to the same
No, it gets
nation.
more. Wait, there's a difference between a messenger and a prophet, though.
Yeah.
Remember that. If we keep that separate, if we look at it that way, I still don't see where.
Yeah.
I mean, prophet and messenger, if we keep those two concepts separate, because that's what the Quran
That's
said.
the beauty of Islam. A messenger is a messenger sometimes. Sometimes a messenger is a prophet. Sometimes a prophet is a prophet. Sometimes a prophet is a prophet and a messenger. Allah knows best. All right, every nation has its own messenger. See verses 1636 and verse 89. This contradicts verse 29:27.
Which is what you were saying.
Right, 45:16, which clearly teach that the Jews are the only messengers or prophets. Along with this fact, there have been no prophets sent to Africa, Asia, Europe, Canada, Australia, North and South America, Russia, China, and so forth. I agree. Maybe we're still waiting for them, but wait a minute. Muhammad is said to be the last messenger. But see, I think the way that Muslims can get out of it, but Allah sent 124,000, but he just, I mean, could you imagine if he named all 124,000? I mean, his book could be huge, so don't worry about it. Asia had a prophet. It's one of those 124,000 that nobody ever wrote about, because I guess everybody in those areas were illiterates. I mean, nobody in North and South America wrote about a messenger coming to them from Allah. Okay, and to every nation a messenger. So when their messenger comes, it was judged between them with fairness, and they will not be dealt with unjustly. And they say, when is this promise? If you were truthful, why are they asking him, when is this promise?
What promise?
Yeah.
What was the promise? So the messenger comes.
I think the promise is when Muhammad says, or Allah says, and to every nation a messenger is sent.
How do we know it's a promise?
I don't know. And that would explain why the people are saying,
what is this promise?
Right. When is this promise if you're faithful? So apparently these people haven't received the messenger yet. 49, say, I do not own myself harm or benefit except what Allah wills. To every nation its time, when its time comes, so they will not delay an hour, nor will they advance. I am so confused. Okay. Lots of says here. Say, did you see if his torment comes to you by night or day, what portion of it will the criminal hasten?
Why is he concerned about what a criminal will speed up? Because, okay, I mean, it just tells you the perverted nature of this God. I mean, he's a couple of times he knows what the vandal does, and now he's concerned about what a criminal will speed up. I mean, so does Allah have a criminal mind?
Okay, did you see if this torment comes to you by night or day? See what? What torment?
Not clear, that's for sure.
Okay, 51. 51.
I'm laughing at the comments. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can't see the comments because I'm on another tab. Next time, I think I'm going to have both of my computers up so I can.
Well, I'll read it.
Let me go check.
Where's my messenger? I'm still waiting. TikTok. Another one. The prophet Allah sent to North Europe and Scandinavia. You find in our bogs. That's from Marion. Walla and M to J. He left as a donkey, but never came back as a horse. Does he come in on a flying donkey? That's from Repent. Oh boy.
I'm telling you. All right, let's move on to 51. Yeah, we're crack-a-lacking. Okay, 51. Is it then, if it befalls, you believe him? Now, and indeed, with it you were hastening to where? Then it was said to those who were unjust, taste the eternal torment. You will be rewarded, except for what you were.
It says, "Will you be rewarded?"
Oh, I'm sorry. See, I see. If you read the Quran long enough, you start to
jumbles your head.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Then it was said to those who were unjust. So this is Allah speaking to the unjust. Taste the eternal torment. Will you be rewarded except for what you were earning? And they ask you to prophesy to them. But we know Muhammad didn't prophesy to anybody. Is it true? Say, I swear by my Lord, surely it is the truth. And you cannot escape.
Escape what?
I guess the truth. I don't know.
What was it? And if it's something's true, but we still don't know what the true is.
That Allah is one, and he has no partners. He begets not, nor is begotten.
And he doesn't create because there's other people watching that creation.
Or he creates and then he created, but then he redid it.
Or he
Meaning
had
to
somebody
me,
else redo it. It
did he
sounds
make
like
a
Allah
mi-
had a partner there.
did he make a mistake the first time? So he had to redo it. He realized, okay, I screwed
Yeah.
up. I screwed up.
Let's
Let me
do it all
again.
over again. Yep.
You know?
That's
I used too much of that red clay on Adam. He's got a funny color. Let me redo it. All right, 54. And if every soul that has done injustice possessed all that is on the earth, it would assuredly ransom itself with it. And they would proclaim the regret when they saw the torments. And it was judged between them fairly, and they are not dealt with unjustly.
Really, I mean, I think Allah is unjust by himself. He doesn't seem like he
Allah
wants to
is
torment people. He
Allah
wants,
is being unjust by tormenting you and me by reading this crap.
and yeah, I think the torment is reading this. Yeah.
Okay. Again, this is supposed to be Allah speaking. I don't see any say unless
And believe it or not, this is incredibly clearly written and accurately written, and so that's the danger when you talk to people who can read the Arabic. They're like, oh my gosh, like we had what do on it. He's like, oh, I wouldn't even dare to translate. I wouldn't even try to translate. Yeah.
So I'm assuming I don't know if this is Allah, this is Muhammad. Is not surely to Allah what is in the heavens and the earth. Now notice the heavens is plural, but the earth is singular. But we read someplace that he created 7 earths. So which one is this? Is not surely the promise of Allah true? What is his promise? But most of them do not know. Well, if they don't know, then whose fault is that?
The guy who can't communicate clearly.
Yeah. He gives
Is that
life.
the Allah?
He gives life and he causes death. And to him you will return. Yeah, but didn't also Isa give life?
Yeah, Allah, Isa created life. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it says
Now-
he did so with permission. Well, I mean,
Yeah, I'm not buying that whole. See, Muslims don't understand what permission means. There's a difference between permission to do something. That does not mean that you don't have the capability of doing it.
yeah.
You know. Oh, you people, indeed, a sermon has come to you from your Lord, and a healing for what is in the chests, and a guidance and a mercy to the believers. I don't know what is in your chest.
Now, is this about the chest that gets cracked open?
Is that the booty chest?
I think Muhammad's chest gets cracked open at some point.
Yeah, somebody tried to use that on, I don't know, where was it, on Clubhouse, something about, oh yeah, it was a Muslima that was talking about, oh, Muhammad, he was pure because Angel Jabril,
Cracked his chest open.
cracked his chest open and took his heart out and washed it and put it back together. Come on, you believe that crap? Seriously. I got a beachfront property in Oklahoma that I'm willing to sell at a good price.
So Allah gave not Allah. An angel did open heart surgery.
Yes.
On Abdul Mo Abdul, and that makes him
He's pure.
Because he had open heart. Okay, listen. If you think your physical being is the equivalent of your soul or your inner being, something is wrong because uh, this is just. I mean, if you don't recognize the difference, there's a big problem here.
Yeah, I think it was also not just the heart, but I think all his organs were removed and washed, made pure.
Well, then, so he was dead. Is how you have to look at it. So he was dead.
Yeah,
Then what lived on? If that's the issue. If something lived on, it had nothing to do with those organs. So that's the point right there. So what needed to be washed weren't the physical pieces, and that didn't get washed. Oh, something to think about.
now I would like to know: is there a scar, or did they have really good crazy glue that left no scar? And
Well, there's going to be a
who
crazy
witnessed
scar,
this?
but that could be because
Right.
I could see Mo saying that. Oh yeah, I was in battle, and
Where?
that's his explanation for having a scar.
Who were the witnesses to this miraculous cracking open the chest and removing the? I mean, because I could say whatever I want to say and say, yeah,
That could be the miraculous ant,
yeah.
or the owl, or maybe the field mouse.
I mean, it could be.
No, I bet it's the goat that eats Quran scriptures.
Goat Akbar. All right, 58. Say, by the bounty of Allah and his mercy, so by that, so they may rejoice, it is better than what they gathered. Say, have you seen what Allah has sent down to you of provision? So you made of it forbidden and lawful? Say, has Allah given you his permission, or you forged against Allah? Okay.
So you can produce something. Has Allah given you his permission, or you can create something against Allah? If I mean, it still is of an opinion of a smaller God. I mean if you there's a belief that you can create something against a God, it has to be a small God.
Well, and if doing something requires Allah's permission, how are these people even able to forge something? Allah didn't give them permission, but yet, even without Allah's permission, they were able to forge something. Now, I don't know what that forge means. Does it mean words? Did
Or
they write?
produce.
Did they write the false Quran that we're reading? I mean, I don't know. All right, 60. And what is the conjecture of those who forged a lie against Allah on the resurrection day? Surely Allah is bountiful to the people, but most of them are not thankful. And will you not be in any affair, and you do not recite from it, from the Quran, and you do not do any work except we were witnesses over you when you engage in it, and not even the weight of an atom on the earth? I think it's the weight of an ant, but that's what.
I think he's being kind by
Yeah,
using that reference.
I think.
I've seen a lot of studies on this particular thing, and I'm like, again, I don't think I think Usama was being kind, because this reference to an atom is a kind reference. It's not
Right, that word atom would have not been used, and I
yes,
believe I heard CP mention that it's an ant, but whatever.
yes.
And not even the weight of an atom on the earth or in the heaven, or smaller than that or bigger, escapes your Lord, except it is in a clear book.
I
Clearly,
haven't
Allah
read
is not
anything
talking.
clear in this book yet.
It's not talking about this book. It must be a different book, because this book is not clear.
Oh, let's prove it. Go on to the next verse.
And not surely no fear on the friends of Allah, and they will not grieve those who
Oh,
believed and were fearing.
wait a minute. Is not surely no fear. Okay, well, I'm still trying to find the clarity here. Is not surely no fear on the friends of Allah, and they will not grieve. Grieve what? Fear what?
I mean, that's some serious linguistic going on there. I mean, the grammar is just amazing. Is
Yeah,
not
and
surely no fear? Okay. There is no change to the words of Allah, but yet Muslims tell us that the Bible is corrupted. We don't have the same Torah. We don't have the same Injil. They have the good news in the world's life and in the hereafter. There is no change to the words of Allah.
wait a minute. Okay, if there's no change to the words of Allah, that means then the Old Testament, which they said comes from Allah, can't be corrupted. That means the Injil can't be corrupted. And that would mean if the Quran comes from Allah, it can't be corrupted. If you have to accept all three, if you believe that Allah preserves his word, you
Goes on
can't
to
accept
say,
one.
this is the great triumph. Now, here's the thing. Muslims will say, no, 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 no. They're talking about Allah's words in the tablets.
So what is the good news? Let's talk about this, the good news. Have you ever heard any good news in the Quran? The good news, the gospel. They have the gospel. That's what the good news is, the gospel.
It's not, Allah doesn't mention the Injil.
Yeah, this is interesting.
Okay. Okay. 65. And do not let their saying grieve you. Surely all the honor is to Allah. He is the hearing, the knowing. Okay. 66. Is not surely to Allah whoever is in the heavens and whoever is on the earth. And no one follows those who call on partners without Allah. They follow but the conjecture, and that they only lie.
Well, and let's get this out here. When they said, the only ones I know of who claim that there is no Trinity to the point where they insist that that Jesus isn't a God and that there's no part. They're talking about Jesus not being God. They do this at the same time their Quran talks about, in their belief structure, partners Muhammad with Allah. Because Allah can't exist without Muhammad, and Muhammad can't exist without Allah. I mean, you look at the Shahada. That's a statement of partnership.
The first sentence is incomplete because it says, and not surely to Allah, whoever is in the heavens and whoever is on the earth. What? Now,
even if it goes on, it doesn't fully make sense.
Right, it doesn't make sense. Now, I should say, and surely to Allah belongs whoever is in the heavens and whoever is in the earth. That would make more sense because this is incomplete. It is not surely to Allah whoever is in the heavens and whoever is on the earth. What? You can't just finish.
It's not surely. I mean, it doesn't make sense. Okay, and now,
like you said, if you took the period out and made the and smaller, it would read, and not surely to Allah whoever is in the heavens and whoever is on the earth, and no one follows those who call on partners with Allah. That makes those two have nothing to do with each other, and they make no sense.
I still think the Quran was somebody like a waiter carrying. I mean, originally, I think it was a whole bunch of pieces of paper on a platter, and like a waiter carrying it and trips over something, and then they had to put it together somehow, and that's how you got the Quran.
Or you can also use the analogy of a jigsaw puzzle that the person couldn't put the jigsaw puzzle back together correctly. It's got all the pieces mixed up, and this is what this book looks like. Creating 1.6 billion idiots. Unfortunately, I have to agree with you.
But I'll say this: the one out of the 1.6 billion followers, how many of them actually do read the Quran? And it's such a minuscule number. That's the part that's mind-numbing. The ones who actually do and then claim they have a belief, those are the ones who are the dangerous ones.
Yeah.
The other ones who read it say, "Oh my God, this is a mess," and they run. And they take their life in their hands because they're threatened with having themselves killed by, when they read this and find out what a mess it is, people will say, "Oh my gosh, I got to leave." Yeah. I mean,
right,
not allowed to think when you're in Islam.
That's the whole thing. You got to leave your brain at the door. Okay, 67. He is who made the night for you to dwell and the day to see. Surely, and this are signs to a hearing people. But wait a minute. Wouldn't this be a sign for seeing people?
I was just gonna say that. Okay, okay, night. Okay, to dwell. To dwell means okay. You live someplace. So does that mean I'm living in a house? Is night now like a house or a day to see? Okay, so now I see during the daylight. Surely in this are signs to how we're talking about things you see. What are they talking about hearing?
I don't
Does
know.
not make sense. And then
What
Allah is
does
serious,
what
but
does what does hearing have to do with seeing the day and in the night? All right, let's see. No doubt indeed to Allah belongs whoever is in the heavens and whoever is in the earth, and not follow those who invoke from other than Allah partners. Okay, wait a minute. Am I?
I think you skipped 68. I think you're skipping down a little further.
Okay.
Let's start at the beginning of
Oh,
68.
I'm in the wrong. Yeah, I'm in the wrong one. I'm reading 66. I really need to read 67.
Okay.
Let's see what it says here in the word for word. Okay. He is the one who made for you the night that you may rest in it, and the day giving visibility. Indeed, that surely are signs for the people who listen.
Still doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't make sense. Listen, hearing.
You've got to sit there when these translators go through and look at this. Like, I mean, is it any wonder that some of these people who do this are not Muslim? Because if you're Muslim and you translate this, you're like, oh my gosh, this doesn't make any sense. You're going to be, what you just have to become a deceiver of others because you know it makes it's garbage. What does that say? I read Hebrew and Greek. I'm not great at it anymore, but I can still read pieces of it. And I'll tell you this: when you look at the Hebrew, word for word, it's the King James is almost 100% accurate. It's one of the most accurate translations I see. And I look at I look at the Textus Receptus, and I look at what we have in the new. Again, I'm looking at King Jimmy, and it's very, very accurate word for word. This is just when you look at the differences in the translations from the non-Arabic, you just kind of sit there and wow. And then the Arabic translation, Arabic, the different versions of Arabic, it's just kind of mind-numbing.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on. Allah does not have a son. Okay. 68. They said, Allah took a son. Praise be to him. He is the rich. To him, what is in the heavens and what is on the earth. Do you have authority for this? Do you say against Allah what you do not know? Okay. They said Allah took a son. Praise be to him. Okay, he is the rich.
What does that mean, the rich?
Okay, and who is the rich? Is it Allah or is it the son? Because my understanding is, according to Arabic, the rich would be referring to the last noun, which would be son.
Be son. So yeah, that's what I took it as.
Allah took a son. Praise be to him. Alhamdulillah. He is the rich. To him, what is in the heavens and to what is the earth. So is that saying that Allah's son is rich and the heavens and the earth belong to him? All right, 69. Say, surely those who forge the lie against Allah do not prosper. But wait a minute. We are prospering. We don't lie against Allah. We expose the lie of Allah.
I think this is humorous because if this was actually true, you would think the Arabic world would be light years ahead of where it is.
Yes, and we know that the reason that even the so-called Arab countries that are rich, guess what? It was because of us.
It's because we want their oil.
Yeah, they would
we'd be. In the United States, we'd be fine if we didn't have Biden closing up the pipelines.
South America would be fine because, Venezuela and all of that. But I mean, without the British and the Americans, they wouldn't even know they had oil,
Yes.
or how to get the oil out, or how to
Or who
refine
would
it.
educate them?
We're the ones that are doing all of this stuff. We refine the oil, not them. So I'm not seeing anybody prospering. The majority of the Muslim world are basically shitholes. I hate to put it
Um,
in, but that's what they are. They're backwards, 7th century. Probably some of the people there, unfortunately, probably wiped their butts with 3 stones. You know,
yeah.
and it's amazing all the technology that the Muslims are using. I mean, they're on the internet, on Skype, Zoom, whatever. They're using Kafir technology. But yet, I'm supposed to believe that Muslims were the greatest inventors. Inventors of what? They basically took knowledge from other people, and then all of a sudden, it's like somebody turned
Well,
on the
in
light bulb.
textbooks, they're now. This is it's an interesting, truthful statement. In the textbooks, we went from teaching. This happened over a few years. Watched it happen. The change in textbooks. So one year we were teaching the Chinese created calligraphy, and we got a new textbook, and all of a sudden it said the Muslims created calligraphy. I'm like, excuse me, we're talking about centuries of difference here.
I mean, I'm surprised it didn't say that the Muslims created gunpowder.
I Well, they do try to give credit to Muslims for creating the compass type stuff. Finding your way at sea, and that's even more funny and hilarious considering they didn't go on the water until centuries after they started, their jihad.
Right. After they acquired all the knowledge from the
They
preceding
stole.
nations that they stole,
Yeah.
like the Byzantine Empire, Egypt, and all of those with the Library of Alexander. Okay. The story of Noah is copied from the Bible and corrupted once again. What is not copied from something? There is nothing original, and Allah couldn't even get it correct.
Wait. Is it Muhammad supposed to be a prophet? Or have we heard anything that's original in here, by the way?
No.
Except for the bad, the bad
Right.
grammar, the bad and the incredibly unclear stuff.
Right.
There's nothing here. I mean, it hasn't given us any value of anything. We're working towards the end of chapter 10, and we haven't gotten any value out of anything, except to explain to Muslims that they need help if they're reading this.
I haven't had a drink in ages, but I may just get me a bottle of red wine the next time we read this
Oh
because,
my gosh!
man, I'm gonna need something, or maybe something a little stiffer. Okay. All right. So 71, and recite to them the news of Noah when he said to his people, "Oh my people."
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Let's see. His people. We have a problem here. His people. He was an evangelist. And Noah's like, "Hey, there's a flood coming, you idiots! Get on the boat. Get
Well,
on the boat. You'll be safe."
remember, Noah had his people, Lot had his people, you know, and recite to the news of Noah, and recite to them the news of Noah when he said to his people, "Oh, my people, if my dwelling with you was big."
What?
All right, let me do something. I'm going to have to pull up.
My dwelling with you was big.
I'm
Who cares? Doesn't make any sense.
gonna have to pull up.
Number
Where
2.
we're in chapter 10, so I'm gonna have to go to chapter 11 and go backwards. Uh, oh, there's only 5. Okay, chapter 2, bothersome. Okay, and recite to them the news of Noah when he said to his people, "Oh, my people, if my dwelling with you was big, bothersome, and my reminding you of the verses of Allah, so on Allah I depended."
It,
Whoa,
it,
whoa.
wait, what was? Wait a minute. Is he talking to them after the flood? That's even funnier.
It would have to be after the flood.
Okay, they're dead. I'm
Because
sorry, they are
because
dead.
this is supposed to be Noah speaking to his people, right? And he's saying, "Oh, my people, if my dwelling with you was big," which I don't know what that means. Now, I don't know if the two is referring to the big,
I mean, unless he's talking about his personal family, which is lots and lots and lots of
or if he's
children.
saying, "If my dwelling with you was bothersome," okay, so two goes with big. And my reminding you of the verses of Allah, so on Allah I depended. You shouldn't say depended because that's in the past tense. But you're alive. It should say, so on Allah I depend. And this is, yeah, I mean, Noah is
So this is an
speaking.
implication. Okay, so if you keep reading, it says, so gather your affair and your partners, and do not let your affair be a burden on you. Come to me and do not wait. Okay, so if we take this as he's preaching to those people who don't get on the boat, and it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Perverted, corrupted. I say perverted. It takes a small mind to create this stuff. Oh my God! Because
even a smaller
they don't.
mind.
It's so incomplete. It's like the guy was drunk and he didn't know what he was saying when he wrote this.
I mean, the scarier part is that it takes even a smaller mind to believe this crap.
I agree with you.
You know, so here we have Noah speaking in the past tense because it says, "So on Allah I depended."
Maybe the word depends. I don't know.
This is not really. So this is not really Noah speaking because Noah wouldn't say, "So on Allah I depended." This would be somebody saying that that Noah depended on Allah. Okay, so but we know that Noah is speaking because the people are still alive. Okay, then come to me and do not wait. But let me ask you a question. Would you have any idea that this is speaking about a coming flood just from reading these two verses? Or actually, I should say one verse.
I mean, that's the thing that Noah was telling everybody. There's going to be a flood. There's going to be rain on the. It's going to rain, and at that point in time, the truth is there was no rain on the earth. So I get that they weren't too concerned. They didn't believe him. I get that. There was never any rain on the earth. Okay, and it took till this century, within the past 30 years, for us to discover there are fountains in the ocean.
Right.
Fountains of the deep. It took us to discover that within the past 30 years. Okay. So this says something. I mean, yeah, this is so uncreative. I mean, a 7th century desert mindset, I guess maybe they can't understand the concept of a flood. I mean, I don't know.
All right, so I guess Noah turns to the people.
Maybe they've never had too much or enough water.
So basically, Allah is telling Muhammad to tell the people about Noah. But it's written as if Noah is the one who's speaking. Because it says in 72, it says, so if you turn away, so I have not asked you for any wage.
Why would they pay him?
Right, but my point is, if this is supposed to be Muhammad,
I think it's Noah supposed to be speaking, but
yeah, but it says, and recite to them the news of Noah. So Allah is telling somebody to recite the story of Noah, right? So it's not Noah; it's recounting what Noah said to his people. But then in 72, it's in a present tense, like if Noah is saying, "So if you turn away." So
this is again what we've been
right.
saying throughout everything. When this sounds like the guy who wrote this, whoever it was,
Right.
knew Arabic as a second or third or fourth language.
See, because this is asking somebody to recite or recount the story, but it's written in the first person as if Noah is the one who's speaking. But Noah has been dead for for millenniums, but yet it's written in the first, like, of Moses. I'm sorry, Moses. If Noah is telling people, so if you turn away, so I have not asked you for any wage. We don't know what that means. My wage is only on Allah, and I am commanded to be of the Muslims.
What? Excuse me. That's this creation. If Muhammad's the first Muslim, how can Noah be one of them?
Because the word is submitter, I think. Let me
Yeah.
see. What does it say?
Muslim means submit. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So 73. So they denied him. So we delivered him and those who were with him in the ship. Why couldn't Allah say, and we delivered him and his family?
Because he thought that there was more. He thought that there
Yeah.
was more than just his family.
Oh, maybe it was the animals. He couldn't.
Maybe Allah
Hey,
didn't
hey, but
know.
wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Did Allah save the pig? I mean, if the pig is such a bad animal, don't you think that God would have not told? God would have told
What about monkeys,
Noah,
too?
"Hey, pigs not allowed. They're haram." Right? Because I'm sure a pig would have been bad since the beginning. So why would Allah put a pig in the ark to save a pig? For what
Well, these
reason?
are good questions. These are good questions.
So we delivered him and those who were with him in the ship, and we made them viceroys, and we drowned those who denied our verses. So people were drowned not for their wickedness, just because they said, you know what, Allah, we just don't like your verses. I just don't agree with this incoherent, disjointed babbly goo that you have. So see how is the end of the warned. But wait a minute. Have we noticed anything in these verses where Noah warned them that there would be a flood?
Well, and again, there was no warning. We
And the
drowned those who
reason,
denied our verses. I mean, there was nothing. Nothing that Noah said that said anything about verses. I mean,
okay, this one's a good one too. All right, so we drowned them. We know that Noah and some people, got saved in the ship, and the rest drowned.
wait a minute. Who gets saved in the ship?
I don't know.
We drowned those who
We
denied our
delivered
verses.
him, right? We don't know who him is, but I'll give all of the benefit
Wait,
of
wait,
the
wait.
doubt.
If no, so read verse 74. It makes it even more funny.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It's going to be funny. Then we sent after him messengers to their people.
They're dead. He's sending messengers to the dead people.
Maybe he
Oh
meant
my
to
God.
say to the people that came out of Noah, and whatever. I mean, this is just so they came to them with proofs. Proofs of what? So they
Oh,
were not to believe in what they denied previously. Likewise, we seal on their hearts. We seal on the hearts of the transgressors.
look at if you're sending messengers to dead people whose bodies we can't find because they were covered with tons of muck from the sea. Something's wrong with you.
I mean, it would make sense if it said, and then we sent after him, meaning no messengers
But he just talked about them
to
drowning.
his progeny.
And we drowned those who denied our
Oh, but wait a
verses.
minute, but wait
Then
a
we
minute.
send messengers.
Now, remember, Muslims say this was not a global flood. This was just a local flood.
Oh, I didn't realize. Okay, because
Yeah,
they can't conceive of a flood.
But apparently there were other, Noah had other people that didn't flood.
So wait a minute. Is Arabic culture now the only? I mean what I truly mean this. The only culture that doesn't believe in the world flood. Because
Probably.
every single culture in the world, every single religion has a story about a world flood. That would make Islam, if they don't see it as being worldwide, they are the only one that would say that.
Right. Okay.
But if they say they we're supposed to believe the Torah, which this story is in, then they have to believe it's a world flood. But apparently Moses, they've never read the books of Moses. They just imagine they knew. I guess it's the best you can get from somebody illiterate who can't get a story straight.
Here we see more stealing from the Bible and corrupting it once again. The story of Moses is copied from the Bible and corrupted once again.
So we
75.
go from Noah to Moses. How many generations are we talking about? Oh my gosh.
What happened to Abraham?
Oh, what happened to Lot? What happened to Joseph and Jacob?
I mean, you know how many years is from Noah to Moses? I mean, whew.
Wow.
You know,
That's a lot of generations.
At least 1,000 or 1,500 years. Okay. Then we sent after them. After who? Oh, after the messengers? Then we sent
Noah.
after them Moses and Aaron to Pharaoh.
Wait a minute. After the messengers got sent. So wait a minute. If this is after the messenger, okay, after them. Okay, so that's after the Noah. We're talking. This is too crazy. I'm
telling you. So Allah sent 2 prophets to Pharaoh. 2 prophets to the same people.
Wait. Aaron's a prophet?
Yes, he is. He's a prophet in Islam.
Oh, wow.
So you got Moses and Aaron, 2 prophets to the same people, which is the Egyptians, which, and also Moses was not an Egyptian, right? So, and we just read up above that into every nation we sent a messenger. But Moses and Aaron are, But anyway, he sent 2 people that don't belong to the Egyptians because Moses and Aaron would have been Israelites. So Moses and Aaron would have come to the Israelites, not to the Pharaoh, but that's okay. I mean, who's keeping track of this? So we sent Moses and Aaron to the Pharaoh and his leaders with our signs. So they acted proudly and they were criminal people. Boy, lots of criminals. So when the truth came to them from us, they said, now why is Allah using us? Us is plural. Us is not a royal. I mean, I can give him the crap about the royal we, but there is no royal us.
Well, the royal we, the royal we includes the use of a plural. So us would be considered there, but there is no use when they constantly use this. It implies that Allah is more than one.
Right.
That's what it comes down to. If they want to consider they're using the concept of royal we. The royal we concept has to do with a unity, a partnership. All right, and if that's what they're going to say, then there has to be a partnership.
Right. See, I don't think Muslims fully understand the concept of the royal we.
No, they don't.
But then again, they don't seem to understand the concepts of anything because they make it up. They change words.
Well,
Everything.
I mean, again, this is like we keep saying, they can't get the they're using like the misuse gender. They misuse this. I'm sorry, not they. It's the Quran. It's not Muslims. It's Islam itself because the Quran is so poorly written.
Right. All right, 76. So when the truth came to them from us, they said, surely this is obvious sorcery. 77. Moses said, do you say to the truth after it has come to you? Is this sorcery? And this, excuse me. And the sorcerers will not prosper. They said, have you come to us to turn us from what we found our fathers on? I don't know. What exactly were the fathers on?
Oh man, there sounds like they're high.
I'll tell you, man. Can we have some of that stuff?
What are they high on?
It should have said, do you come to turn us from what we found or what our fathers believed in or something like that? Okay, what's number 3?
Their faith.
Their faith. Okay. So it says
on their, have you come to turn us from what we found our fathers on, their faith into you? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
All right, and to you,
you will be kabriya.
Glory.
Glory. Okay. Well, clearly not an Arabic word. If we have to go figure out what the hell it means. Glory on the earth. Okay. And we will not believe in you.
Jeepers, so they got it right. I mean, they're not going to. I mean, who's saying this though? I mean,
I don't know.
it sounds like something that might be said to Muhammad. We don't
Yeah.
believe in you.
79. And Pharaoh said, bring me with every knowing sorcerer. It should say, bring to me, not bring me with every. Okay.
Oh boy.
So when the sorcerers came, Moses says to them, cast down what you will cast.
Wait a minute. What are they? I mean, so Moses is giving them directions. I thought the Pharaoh was supposed to give them directions.
I don't know.
So all of a sudden they take orders from Moses.
And it says, cast down what you will cast. Well, why can't Moses say, cast down your rods?
No. I mean, the reason they get called. I mean, if we read the Bible, the reason they get called is. I mean, let me just pull this up. I mean, this is ridiculous. I mean, it's just a bloody mess. Let me pull up. I like the Blue Letter Bible, and
Yeah, I think I have that one. I have the blue, I have the red.
no, it's blueletterbible.org, and just pulling it up, and we're talking about Exodus. And let's see. This is the rod. Okay, this has to do with the rod. We're talking about chapter. Oh, what are we talking about? Great. Got birth of Moses. That's burning bush. Okay, so it's before chapter 6. What am I on? Before chapter 3. Okay. Wait, this is after the burning bush. Okay, it's the burning bush. Sorry. Moses given powers. Okay. All right, so we're into, this is chapter 4. Moses is given powers. He goes to Aaron, Moses' mouthpiece. Moses returns with Jethro. Okay. We're still in chapter 4. Okay, and we're at chapter 4, verse 27. And the Lord said to Aaron, go into the wilderness to meet Moses, after Moses has been given these powers. And he went and met him in the mount of God and kissed him. And Moses told Aaron all the words of the Lord. See, Moses is the prophet,
Right.
who had sent him, and all the signs which he had commanded him. And Moses and Aaron went and gathered together all the elders and the children of Israel. And Aaron spake the words of the Lord had spoken unto Moses, and did all the signs in the sight of the people, and the people believed. And when they had heard the Lord, okay, so let's talk about what those signs are. He puts his hand in his coat, takes it out, and it's leprous. Puts his hand back in, and it's fine. Okay. Keep going. Chapter 5. And afterwards Moses and Aaron went in and told Pharaoh, thus saith the Lord God of Israel, let my people go. Notice they don't mention that anywhere. This is all about letting my people, letting God's people go.
Right.
All right. And Pharaoh said, who is the Lord that I should obey his voice to let Israel go? I don't know the Lord, neither will I let Israel go. And they said, the God of the Hebrews has met with us. Let us go, we pray you. 3 days' journey into the desert and sacrifice to the Lord our God. Let us see fall upon us with pestilence or with the sword. The king of Egypt, Pharaoh, wherefore do you, Moses and Aaron, let the people decide to let the people from their works get you onto your burdens? And Pharaoh said, behold, the people of the land now are many, and you make them rest from their burdens. Okay, I'm just trying to get this gets down to it. I'm trying to find that passage. It's down this snake, and all right, chapter 6 we're into, and this is just, yeah, it kills me that he doesn't know the passage well enough. I mean, this is just sad that they don't know the story well enough. But that's an average all the way through this. You can't know the story. This is Ibn Kathir reads the Bible in order to understand the Quran, which is hilarious. I mean,
Well,
that from his writings.
That's just it, Paul. Without the Bible, you don't know anything. What the hell Quran is talking about?
Yes.
I mean, so far we read about Noah, but nowhere is Noah telling the people to repent that there's a coming flood.
Yes.
We just know about he's saved with other people in the boat. We don't know what that means.
Yeah, and prophets were sent, or messengers were sent to
Right,
dead people. That just is
to his people.
hilarious.
But
And it
I
even
thought his
says it
people
there.
right, but I thought his people were drowned.
Oh my gosh. It says something when they're just so messed up they can't figure it out. Yeah. All right. What verse are we on now? All right. We're on 83. Or sorry, 81 are we on? Hello? Kufar? I'm guessing he's stuck. So I'm just going to read. Now, verse 80. So when the sorcerers came, Moses said, cast down. 81. So when they cast down, Moses said, whatever sorceries you brought, surely Allah will. All right. So I will. And I thought that was going to happen. He's back.
Okay, that was very strange. All of a sudden, I got kicked out, and then the browser said the site didn't exist. And I'm like, oh. Hey, brother Dink, how's it going? So let's go back here before I get lost again. Okay, so cast down. Okay, and Allah will establish the truth by His words, even if the criminals hate it. Okay. What a mess, confusion. Okay, none of the Pharaoh's people, i.e., the sorcerers, believed in Moses. Allah. This contradicts his verses 26, 46, and 48. Why am I not surprised? Because that's one of the contradictions. Okay, so 83. So no one believed to Moses except an offspring from his people because of the fear of Pharaoh and his leaders, lest he should seduce them. Oh, wait a minute. Sounds kind of sexual.
Okay, that's a little scary.
I don't know, man. That's
Oh,
seduction.
that's because Allah goes both ways. Maybe that's what he's hoping.
Could be. I mean, the choice of the word seduce. I mean, how do you seduce somebody? Now, you might be able to seduce somebody with a nice bowl of, cookie dough and chocolate chip, which I had 2 boxes and I ate them all in 2 days. That stuff is just good. But I got the cheap kind, so getting the 2 half gallons were kind of like buying one of the regular ones. So, okay, and surely Pharaoh is exalted in the land, and surely he is of the extravagant.
Okay, so he's got lots of money.
Yeah.
But didn't we,
I mean, he is Pharaoh. Come on.
Yep.
He's not going to be Pharaoh. He's not going to be the poor Pharaoh. Okay. 84. And Moses said, oh, my people. But wait a minute. But Moses is talking to the pharaohs.
Wait a minute.
Right?
Oh,
he's talking
people?
to Pharaoh, and he's talking to Pharaoh.
So this is where they get it wrong again. Moses is not Egyptian. He is Jewish.
Right. But yet he's talking to Pharaoh and his people. Oh, my people, if you were believing in Allah, so depend on him if you were Muslims.
Sorry, there were no Muslims back then. It took Muhammad's creation to create a Muslim.
So they said, on Allah we depended. That's past tense.
Doesn't make any sense.
Why are the people talking in the past tense? But wait a minute. But so the Egyptians are saying that they believe in Allah, or they depended on Allah. Oh, Allah, we depend on our Lord. Do not make us a sedition to the unjust people, and deliver us by your mercy from the infidel people.
Wait, who are the infidels here?
I don't know. Apparently, the Egyptians are the good people, and the Jews are the infidels.
That's confusing.
Okay, and we revealed to Moses and his brother. that take your people to houses in Egypt, and in your houses make a
Kabbalah. Let me just find out what
a
that one is.
direction, a direction for prayer.
A
And
Kibla.
okay, so wait a
That's
minute.
funny.
But wait a minute. Take your people to the houses in Egypt. Wait a minute. I thought they left Egypt.
Oh,
Oh,
no,
this
wait a
is
minute. Not yet. No, he hasn't. It hasn't happened yet.
isn't this the part where the Egyptians leave and the Jews, they take over Egypt after the
Our
flood?
Lord surely. Okay.
After Egypt was flooded and all the dwellings and all the pyramids were destroyed, the Israelis.
And Moses said, "Our Lord, surely you have given Pharaoh and his leaders adornment." Okay, let's. Where did you stop off? I'm sorry. Okay,
87, and we
87.
revealed to Moses and his brother
Okay.
that take your people to the houses in Egypt, and in your houses make a direction of prayer.
The Kibla. We'll say a Kibla. Yeah.
And perform the prayer and give good news to the believers.
What's the good news?
I don't know.
At this point, and Moses said, "Oh,
that Allah is fake." And Moses said, "Our lords, surely you have given Pharaoh and his leaders adornment and money in the world's life. Our Lord, that they may err from your way. Our Lord, hide on their money and harden on their hearts, and they will not believe until they see the painful torment." So wait. Allah rewards Pharaoh and his leaders with money and all the pleasures of the world, right? So that they can make a mistake. But so Allah is purposely doing this. But then Moses says, "Our Lord, hide on their money." What? Hide under? Oh, Moses is telling Allah to hide underneath their money, because Pharaoh had loads of money. Okay, and harden on their hearts, and they will not believe until they see it. But no, he said. Who
if
said?
you can put, hey, Kufar, can you put up? I put the Quran up so they can see it.
Hold on a second. Okay.
All right.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot when I got kicked out.
Yeah, I figured that's.
I didn't realize it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. He said, okay, so it's Moses is talking, and all of a sudden he said, "Indeed, I have answered your calling. So be straight and do not follow the way of those who do not know." I mean, it changed.
This doesn't make any sense.
The speakers change. Moses said, so we know in verse 88 it's Moses speaking. Then all of a sudden, 89, he said, who? Moses? Allah? Muhammad? Okay. Pharaoh did not drown, but became a Muslim by believing in Allah. This contradicts again. I mean, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 different chapters. Okay. All right, 90. And we brought the children of Israel through the sea. So Pharaoh and his hosts followed them insolently and with enmity or hatred until when he was about to drown, he said, "I believed." There goes this "I believed." That just, I think Osama made a mistake here, because the guy's talking in the past tense.
Yeah, no, that's what it does. Yeah, that's where it. Yeah.
I mean, but this is Pharaoh speaking. Pharaoh would not say "I believe." Pharaoh would say "I believe."
Well,
Okay,
that
let's go.
is the standard Arabic. That's the funny
Let's
part.
go with the Pharaoh said, "I believe there is no God but him on whom the children of Israel believed. And I am of the Muslims."
Wait a minute. He can't be a Muslim, because if he believes as the children of Israel will be, he'll be a Jewish.
Yeah, apparently the Jews were not Jews.
Or the Hebrew. He'll be Hebrew.
Apparently the Jews were Muslims. They just didn't know it. Muhammad had to come along in the 7th century.
I have a theory about this, which would be fun to bounce off of Osama, considering he's Egyptian.
Oh, okay.
Now, this chapter, I maybe it was written and Muslims will not be happy with me for saying this, after they took Egypt.
Could be.
So they could say nice things about Egypt, and all of a sudden, hopefully,
wait a
they'll get
minute.
Egypt
You got to
followed.
remember, Paul, the Quran was really not written until the mid 8th century by the Abbasids. There's really nothing that points to anything in the 7th century.
Well, I'm not disagreeing with that,
Yeah.
but this would make sense on
Right.
why they would do this.
And I think by 749, Egypt had already fallen to the Muslims.
Yes, it had. I've
By quite
read
a few.
their history of it.
Right,
Their history of it. Yeah.
By a long shot. We're talking decades, if not at least a century.
Yeah, I would.
Okay.
This makes sense if if you're going to. It's one thing to put a story in there and get it wrong, but to turn around and compliment the Pharaoh in the way they do, I mean, are they trying to schmooze over things in Egypt where they've already taken over?
Right.
It's the only thing that makes sense to me.
Okay, so I believe there is no God but him on whom I am of the Muslims. Okay. So Pharaoh took the Shahada. Now, and indeed, you disobeyed before, and you were of the Vandals. So today we will deliver you with your body, that you may become a sign to those who come after you. And surely, and most people are unaware of our signs. Okay, but wait a minute. How is this considered saving the guy?
Surely, I mean, I don't see how Pharaoh gets saved. I mean, he drowns.
I mean, what does that mean? We will deliver you. I mean, we know that that the Pharaoh drowned. I don't consider
we
that.
We will deliver you with your body.
Yeah. So what does that mean? He didn't have a body before?
Around you. Okay, so we killed you, and we're delivering you with your dead body to warn everybody, don't mess around with me. That's more what it sounds like to me.
Right.
But yeah, if he becomes Muslim, their belief would be that he lives on. I have seen. It's funny because when you watch videos of this, you'll see some videos where Pharaoh survives. You'll see a lot of videos where Pharaoh dies. It doesn't matter if they're done by Jews, Christians, whatever. They changed the ending too many times. It's not consistent with the scripture, is what it comes down to. And I don't know if Muhammad had his own light version of this of a video. Maybe someone giving him picture stories. Whatever it was, it didn't work. He didn't get the message.
93. And indeed, we settled the children of Israel a good settlement. Hey, they went to court and they won. And we provided them from the good things so they did not disagree until the knowledge came to them. That must have been some really crappy knowledge if they disagreed after the knowledge. Surely your Lord judges between them on the resurrection day in what they were differing. Okay. I'm a little bit too far. Allah commands Muhammad to check the Quran with the Jews and the Christians who are reading the Bible.
Wait a minute. If you're going to check the Quran with the Jews and Christians who are reading the Bible, we're going to be throwing a lot of crap out.
Yeah. And wait a minute, but there was really no Quran.
That last part's gone.
Yeah. This is the proof that the Bible existed and was true in Muhammad's day. But we do know what is even more truer is that there was no Quran in itself, meaning a book. So yes. Muhammad would have had to drag all the bones, all the skins, so that the Jews could compare. Because the Jews and the Christians already had a Bible that had been in existence for hundreds of years. Okay, so Allah is telling Muhammad, so if you were in doubt concerning what we have sent down to you, so ask those who are reading the book before you Indeed, the truth came to you from your Lord. So do not be of the doubters. So we can see that the Bible couldn't have been corrupted in the 7th century. Because why would Allah,
and that's where this gets humorous,
right.
yeah.
So why would Allah be telling, okay, yeah, this is the famous 1094. Why would Allah be telling Muhammad to ask the people who are reading the book if that book had been corrupted before the 7th century? It would make absolutely no sense. Okay, 95. And first of all, why would Muhammad be a doubter? Was he not confident in Allah's words?
Maybe he's been caught telling so many bad stories.
I mean, it could be. I mean, as a prophet of God, do you doubt God? Did Moses doubt God and say, you know what, let me check with the people?
I will say this. What Moses and many of the prophets did was they would question. They would ask questions. They didn't necessarily want the answers they got, but
Yeah, we know.
like Isaiah went to him and said, really, do you really want me? I have a bad mouth. I say naughty things.
That's the same
and what
thing
does
with
God
Jonah.
do? He has an angel touch a cold.
That's why
to his
Jonah
lips.
ended up in the whale. He's like, I ain't going there.
Yep.
You better send somebody else. Okay, okay. 95. And do not be of those who deny the verses of Allah, so you will become of the losers. Surely those of whom the word of your Lord established, they will not believe. Surely those on whom the word of your Lord established, they will not believe. Is this telling me that Allah's word was not very believable? Or it wasn't
it sounds like Allah's word isn't enough.
Yeah.
I mean,
97.
It doesn't sound like it's definitely not believable, but
if his word if his word has been established on the people, why wouldn't they believe it? All right, 97.
Because it doesn't make any sense. It's clear as mud.
Even if a sign came to them until they see the painful torment.
But he doesn't send any signs through Muhammad.
Yeah, because what did Allah say? They didn't believe me when I sent them signs. So I'm sorry, Muhammad, you're just out of luck. My gas tank is on empty, and we just ran out of gas up here. So I'm sorry. You're going to have to do with this miraculous book. So were it not that a village had delivered, so its faith profited except the people of Yunus.
And then here we are. This chapter is called Yunus. Now you know why. Here we are on verse 98, and we finally get to Yunus.
And who is Yunus again? I think Allah makes a mistake.
John, I believe. John.
John?
I believe Yunus is John the Baptist.
No, that would be Yahya.
Yeah. Okay, it's Yahya. Okay, sorry.
Yunus, I don't.
Joseph?
No, Joseph. I think it's called Yusuf in the Quran.
Yusuf.
Yeah, I think this is. Let me see. Let me check. I don't want to make a mistake. Okay. Who is Yunus? Quran. I should have just looked at my thing. The story with pictures. Okay, so Yunus is supposed to be Jonah. Yeah, the story of the whale in Yunus as in the Quran. Yeah, so Yunus is Jonah. How did Jonah get into this chapter?
And that's where, again, I keep saying Allah doesn't understand chronological order.
I mean, seriously. I mean, I saw Moses. We talked about Noah. Actually, we skipped from Noah to Moses. We skipped about Abraham and everybody in between. Now, all of a sudden, we're talking about Jonah, except the people of Jonah. Who's Jonah? Okay. When they believed, we removed from them the torment of the disgrace in the world's life, and we gave them enjoyment for a while. So Allah's enjoyment was temporary. Okay, Allah could make all men believe if he wanted to. So clearly Allah does not want everybody to believe because he needs people to go to hell. All right, 99. And if your Lord willed, notice this is up to Allah, all who are on the earth would have believed together. Will you compel people until they become believers?
Well, that's what it comes down to. They will kill us if we do not believe. They will commit acts of jihad. And this is part of this verse, the jihad that never seems to end. That's part of the compulsion.
The compulsion that they say doesn't exist.
Yeah.
What happened to you, your religion, to me, my religion? Oh, that was abrogated. We get to
That's
chop off your
exactly
leg
right.
now. Okay, 100. And it was not for a soul to disbelieve except by Allah's permission. Again, you and I don't believe because it's Allah's permission that we do not
Allah
believe.
doesn't want us to believe. He wants us
Right.
to expose what an idiot he is.
Exactly. And he will lay the uncleanness on those who will not understand. Why are we not understanding? Because Allah
I think I'm
says,
cleaner because I don't wash myself. I don't have to wash myself with dirt after touching a woman.
yeah. Okay, 101. Say, look at what is in the heavens and the earth. What am I supposed to look? I mean, and the signs and the warnings will not profit unbelieving people. Okay. So do they wait except like the days of those who passed before them? Say, so wait. Oh, this is the one. So this is the one that's the same as in 1020, where they're asking Muhammad, how come your Lord hasn't given you any signs? And he says, wait, I'm waiting with you for signs. I'm paraphrasing.
So, yeah, do they wait except for like
Say, so wait. Surely I am with you among those who wait. Wait for what?
Waiting for a sign
day?
because Allah doesn't consider you important enough.
Yeah.
Sorry, Allah doesn't think you're worth it.
Okay, so Muhammad is waiting with the people for what we don't know. Then we will deliver our messengers and those who believed. Likewise, it is a duty on us to deliver the disbelievers. Okay, I honestly don't know what the hell I'm reading. That was Allah. Now we go to Muhammad. Say, O you people, if you were in doubt in my religion, what is your religion? Because so far you haven't mentioned your religion. Muhammad has not told his religion until the end of the Quran, chapter 5, where Allah says, "And today I have perfected your religion, Islam." And I'm like, okay, so that means all this time Muhammad was preaching a unperfected religion.
It was, yeah. That says something, doesn't it? Yeah.
Say, oh, you the people, if you were in doubt in my religion, which we don't know what Muhammad's religion is, because so far no religion has been given. So I do not serve what you are serving rather than Allah, but I serve Allah who causes you to die.
Oh, you really want to serve someone who causes you to die? Something's wrong with you.
No, man, I'd like to serve somebody who causes me to live.
Yeah,
and I have been commanded to be of the believers. Okay. How come it doesn't?
Then you and I have been commanded not to be.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
105. Now I'm surprised it doesn't say that Muhammad has been commanded to be a Muslim, but that comes later on. Okay, 105. And that set your face towards the religion, Hanafan, and do not be of the polytheists. So wait a minute. There was another religion besides Islam? Now I believe that this is supposed to be the religion of Abraham, who somehow is a monotheistic religion, but somehow it wasn't good enough for Allah, so he had to come up with a new one. I mean, if they were already believers, and if the Hanafan were believers who believed in Allah, why would you come up with Islam? Why couldn't everybody just be a?
Well, the simple answer is that if you don't copy some of the pagan traditions, you can't make money.
Yeah, and do not be of the polytheists.
If you're not willing to steal, to rob people, like Muhammad was, he wanted to get even. Yeah. You have to be willing to get even, willing to cause violence, and if those other faith structures weren't willing for that, then that wasn't good enough for Muhammad.
All right, 106. And do not call rather than Allah what will not benefit you or harm you. So if you did, so surely then you are among the unjust. And if Allah touches you with harm, now notice who's causing the harm. It's Allah. And if Allah touches you with harm, none can remove it except him. Okay? And if he restores good to you, none can keep back his bounty. He will strike with you. He will strike with it with what? Whom he
Harm,
will
I'm guessing.
of his servants, and he is the forgiving, the merciful.
Wait, he's going to strike
He's going to strike them with the bounty.
his servants. So he's going to strike Muslims. That's quite a statement. He will strike with it whom he wills of his servants.
But what is he striking them with? The bounty? And I don't want to be struck with a bounty. What is the bounty?
So let's think about that. I mean, if he's striking them with, regardless, it sounds painful. That this is a God who loves to torture, and he's going to strike the people who serve him. I mean, that's an act of violence upon the people who serve him.
And again, my question is, what is he going to strike them with? I hope it's a feather. Okay, 108. This is supposedly Muhammad speaking now. Oh, you people, indeed, the truth has come to you from your Lord. So whoever is guided, so surely he is only guided to himself. And whoever goes astray, so surely he only strays against it. Okay, you're guided to himself. Okay, I guess himself would be Allah. So whoever is guided, so surely he is only guided to Allah. Because it makes no sense for me to be guided to myself. Who the hell am I? And whoever goes astray, so surely he only strays against it. Against what? Is Allah in it now? Is he a transgender? Are you calling Allah
strange pronouns that they won't even grasp?
Is Muhammad calling Allah in it? And I am not a guardian over you. 109. And follow what is revealed to you, and be patient until Allah judges. He is the best of the judges. Alhamdulillah, we finished this chapter.
And we're at the right time, I guess. It's 7:52.
Yeah, 7:52.
It says something there's so much missing and errant that they try to copy from the Bible. It's sad. It is truly sad. It truly says something about the deceit, the errancy. I mean, they can't get the plurals, the singulars, the genders, it doesn't get singulars, plural. I mean, the plural. I still the royal we concept it doesn't work. So it's just too much. It's just wrong. I recommend everybody buy this book, the Generous Quran by Usama Dakdak. We're sharing it here, and
right. And I can't wait till it comes up with his updated version.
I'm going to say that. I would probably say hold off because there is a new one coming out. That's part of the reason why he's not with us today. He's supposed to be reviewing his update. He's supposed to be rereading 60 pages as we speak. Okay. So that's one of the reasons why I wasn't pushing him to join. He said he would, but I sent the link to him, but I wasn't going to push because he had 60 pages. They have to go back off to his editor.
No problem. I mean, we've noticed that we jumped from Noah to Moses to some guy named Yunus, who's supposed to be Jonah. We don't know anything about Yunus.
Why does Jonah come in the middle of this story with Moses, too? This just doesn't make any sense.
I don't
or better yet, I'm still trying to figure out and comprehend the idea that Allah would send messengers to dead people. I mean, he drowned the Egyptians, and then he sends messengers to them.
I mean, if Noah's people drowned, then he obviously couldn't send other messengers to their people. right? His people died.
Yeah, so I mean, you have to sit there and wonder. I mean, is Allah kind of stupid? Is he thick-headed?
I
Why
mean,
would you send messengers to dead people?
yeah, I mean, I honestly don't know. I mean, this guy is like, I mean, there's no flow of thought. We're
Well,
jumping around from place to place. We have no idea.
the only thing
And
that again is if you think of a waiter
but
tripping or a
notice,
waitress tripping and dropping a whole bunch of
what
papers.
is the title of this chapter?
Eunice.
Did we learn anything about Eunice?
No, no, we learned that. Let's see, we learned his name.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, we learned more about Pharaoh not being drowned or Pharaoh becoming a Muslim, and Allah said he will save him in his body. I mean, but see, this is
You
a
know what
problem.
kills me here is we know his name uh, because uh, because you can look it up. It says something that a Muslim might not have a clue as to who Jonah is. Every child who's gone to a Sunday school class has heard the story of Jonah. If I mean, there's just so much that goes on with that. The idea of the whole story about being swallowed by a whale because he didn't want to go to Nineveh because he knew God was merciful. Oh, but that's not the kind of God that Islam serves. They don't serve a merciful God. He said there he wanted people to be he wanted to torture people in this chapter. So not a surprise. We've been reading about stuff like that since chapter 2, and that just says this is the kind of God that they serve. He's not merciful. They'll call him merciful. He's only merciful to those who love him. Oh, so and then he only leads those who he chooses. He's willing for those of us who don't know him to be tortured, to die and go to that other place. Doesn't give us a reason to follow him, that's for sure.
Okay, let me see. We don't. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. The only reference to Jonas being in a whale, okay, where it says the story of Jonah is copied from the Bible. Okay, so that is all right. Let me see. I gotta go. What chapter is this? Oops, 32. That is not until chapter 37, which is called the assembled ranks. So we just read a chapter that's called that's called Jonah, but we don't find out anything really about Jonah until 27 chapters later. Hello.
Again, I'm going to say don't burn the book. The reason I'll say don't burn the book is because it's better to show people how bad it is, that it's clear as mud, and you can prove to them how clear as mud it is because you have this book. It's like when Mormons come to my door, I'll invite them in. I'll show them their books and what their books actually state, and they're like, "What?" I do it with Jehovah's Witnesses. The idea, I mean, they're there to evangelize, and if you show them what the truth is from their own books, it's very, very powerful. Okay, your book says it's clear. What does this mean? Show me how clear it is. Okay, how about this verse here? Let's go to chapter 10, verse 1. Tell me how clear that first verse is. I want to know what it means. First verse. Oh, what's that first verse? It's a word that nobody knows what it is. That's what the Tafsirs say. Oh, so it's not clear. So is Allah lying or is he stupid? I mean, I mean, yeah, it's not clear. And if you use their scriptures to show them it's not clear, you become a good evangelist.
Right. Let me check something else. I'm trying to find something. Looking for the name. 448. 34, 38. Oops. 24. All right, coming down. This has got to be chapter 4, chapter 5. Yeah, I was right. In chapter 4, we do find the name of Eunice. But again, why would you have a chapter called Eunice, but we don't know anything about this guy?
And they don't. I mean, this is the humor, and I mean, what was the real intent here?
I mean, that's like the chapter
Well, the
of the
cow.
table.
How about the cow? How long did
Yeah.
we read till we got to the cow? And then the funny part was, you're reading about this thing that's called that Allah is calling a cow, and people are saying no, it isn't.
But it's the same thing with the chapter called the chapter of the table.
Yes.
We don't even see the word table mentioned until like the last 2 verses in the chapter where supposedly Allah sends a table full of food to the disciples.
And that's where I think the concept of knowing these names is useless. They actually have no meaning. It helps. They're memory tools. That's it. And if these are bad memory tools, and I'll say bad memory tools. As someone who studied special education, we talk about reasons to tools, and there's something called pegs
Right.
as a memory tool. So you learn a number, you have a name, you have a saying that goes behind the name, maybe the definition or whatever, and you can go through, I'd say, up to 20 pegs, and you can learn them all, and you can memorize them easily. You review them a couple times, you probably remember them. I did this with students, and it works. But these, I mean, I don't understand. There's no meaning as you're continuing to see. There's no meaning behind the names of these chapters. There's no relevance to it. So that's problematic.
Right.
Makes memorization even more difficult, which is one of the reasons why they probably brag.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I need to go eat my dinner that I made 2 hours ago.
Bye,
I
all.
want to say thank you for all the people. I see that we still have 10, which is very good. Brother Dink, I'm not even going to try to pronounce you. WAI, Marion, Dragon, everybody else, thank you. I've noticed that we haven't had the bots.
I think it's because we're reporting them as porn stars.
Yeah, I've been doing that too. I mean, the last show we didn't have any. This show we didn't have any. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, we have finished chapter 10. Next Saturday is chapter 11.
Yeah, I have Reliance of the Traveler right here with me.
I mean, honestly, I haven't read it, but I have it. I've used it as reference material.
Here we go.
Now, Paul likes to have the physical, man. I've got over 700 books on Islam. Mine are all PDF except the Quran.
Hey, pick up this one.
Yes.
The Cancer of Civilization Jihad. That's by me.
Yeah, forget about the Reliance. That one's more important. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Next week, hopefully, Osama will be here. If not, hey, me and Paul can take care of the job.
God bless everybody.
God bless everybody. Let's end the show. Thank you. I'll probably see you guys tomorrow on Clubhouse. Repent. Thank you for coming. I'm sorry I actually confused you with Adam the Muslim. I misread one of your posts at the other place. Thank you for coming, everybody. Now, we know Marion, she's really got to like this show because it's got to be 2 o'clock in the morning where she's at. So
God bless Marion.
I don't think she sleeps or she wakes up very late, because if I stayed up to 2 o'clock in the morning, I'd be sleeping until probably 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So thank you very much. God bless everybody, and we'll do it again. Stay safe, be blessed, stay away from Islam. All right, let's end the broadcast.